All right, so for today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on writing word problems. Again, we've taken a little step back, and that's okay because we want to review some stuff. All right, so our learning intention is we're figuring out how to write equations from word problems, and we're still focused on standard 8 EE7. Our success criteria states that we'll be successful when we could transform word problems into equations. All right. For our agenda, we'll go through, review some problems, and then we'll check out some Nearpod and some quizzes exercises. Okay, so the first question we're going to be looking at is this one. And it states 331 students went on a field trip. All right, 331 students went on a field trip. 6 buses were filled and 7 students traveled in cars. How many students were in each bus? So whenever I'm solving this, I always want to make it so that whatever they're asking for is my variable. So how many students how many students were in each bus? I know that's going to be my variable. I'm going to call that X. I always want to make what they're asking for my variable. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. But then they said the students were in a bus. The students were in 7 buses. So that's how I know that I'm going to have to multiply this 7 by how many students I have. All right. I'll have to multiply the 7 by how many students they have because the buses took the students. Well, what they also told me is that, oh no, I took the wrong number. Thank you for whoever sent that in the chat. Let's erase the 7 and erase that right there. But they said 6 buses. So let's go back and put that again. Boom, boom, 6 buses. So 6 buses. So we know that the 6 buses took the kids. So it's 6 buses. Now what I was getting to is the 7. We know that there were extra 7 students. So the buses took students, but there were extra 7 students that went in cars. So that's a plus that by 7. All right. Whenever I add that to 7, that's just one part of my equation. Now we know that all of this, all of it has to equal to the total amount of students. All right. And from my question, they told me that there were 331 students. So that's why I put 331. Now I have to go in and solve this question. We're going to leave it right here because I want us to focus on just getting the equation itself. I don't want us to think about it too much, but we've already learned how to solve multiple step equations, and this is one of them. But I want us to focus on how we got the equation. So the X represents the number of students. So the X is what they're asking us to find. I multiplied it by 6 because they said that there were 6 buses and the students went in the buses. All right, so I have to multiply it to see how many students there are. Now, there's an extra 7 students, and all of that should equal to the total amount of students. Okay, so this question we're gonna do, it's a little bit more tricky, but it's a fun one, all right? So it says, the sum of 3 consecutive even numbers, and just to make it clear, consecutive means one after the other, all right? It comes one after the other, all right? So 1, 2, 3, those 3 numbers are consecutive. 2, 4, 6, those 3 numbers are consecutive even numbers, all right? So 10, 12, 14, those 3 numbers are consecutive even numbers. 10, 11, 12, those 3 numbers are consecutive numbers, all right? So it says the sum of 3 consecutive even numbers is 48. What are the smallest of these numbers? So they're asking me to find the smallest of it, okay? So I immediately, whenever I find out what they're asking me for, which is the smallest, I immediately call that X, or whatever variable you pick. but what they're asking me for becomes my variable. So they say the sum of it. So I have to add, in the other number. So since this is the first even number, my next even number is x plus 2. Okay? Because say for instance this first even number was 10, then and they said consecutive even numbers, so my next even number would be 10 plus 2, right? 12. Then my next even number would be x plus 4. We're just saying that x is 10. So if x was 10, then this number had to be 12, then this number had to be 14. All right, just throwing it out there. But then they said that all of that should equal 48. All of that should equal 48. All right. So with this problem, okay, so to continue, we got to group like terms. All right. That's all we got to do, group like terms. So let me get this going. So all the x's, that one, and that one, we got to group them. All right. And then we got to group everything else that's not an x. So that one and that one. So we do that, we get, let's go back to this color, x plus x plus x, and then we get plus 2 plus 4 is equal to 48. I'm going to erase this right here because I want it to be a different color. Nope, and I still use the same color. Goes 48. So then now this is 3x plus, because x plus x plus x is 3x. 3x plus 6. All this is equal to 48. Then we would continue and solve for x. All right. I'm not going to go any further because I don't want us to continue and push us in, but I want us to recognize how we came up with the equation. All right. We went from the first value, which is an even number. So what if they had said odd number? What would I have put here? Would I have put a plus 2 or what? What would I have put? Right. Someone said in the chat, it would be plus 1. This right here would be plus 1 because it would have been an odd number. But they said even number. We know the even numbers goes up by 2. So we start with one value. And then to get the next number, we got to take that number and add it by 2. And then we got to take that number and add it by 4 because it just keeps going up. All right. And then I combine like terms. And then I got this equation. And then I would solve using the additive and multiplicative inverse. But those are two problems that just transferring them from word problems into equations and then going through and solving them.